What's up guys, Saf here on SuperSaf TV, and it's June already, which means we're halfway through the year, and as I've been doing for the past 7 or 8 years, it's time for my top 5 smartphones of the year so far. Now what usually tends to happen is that these top 5 lists and smartphone awards and things are towards the end of the year, which is all well and good, but it does mean that some amazing devices that come out towards the beginning of the year do tend to get forgotten. And what about if you want to see what the best options are right now, not towards the end of the year? Well, that's what I'm here for. Now, as always, I do have to throw out a few disclaimers before I start. I have tested out a lot of smartphones this year, but I've not tested every single one. I'm just one guy. So there may be a smartphone that I've not tested, which you think should have made that list. That's absolutely fine. We can still be friends. Our list will be different. Drop your favorite picks down in the comments below. And maybe if enough of you want me to cover a particular smartphone that I haven't done, that might make my top 5 list towards the end of the year. And this list is in no particular order. I'm just giving you my personal top 5 favorites of 2024. And guess what hasn't come out yet in 2024? A new iPhone. So there will not be an iPhone in this top 5 list because a new one isn't out this year as yet. If you want to know what my favorite iPhone is, it is the iPhone 15 Pro Max. It made my top 5 list of 2023. It's an amazing smartphone, great all-rounder. I like the titanium builds. I like the consistent cameras, which I still think take the best video out there. The 5x zoom is amazing for portraits. And finally, we have USB Type-C. Now with all of that out of the way, let's get to the list. So the first smartphone on my list, once again in no particular order, is the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. It came out very early and really set the bar for the flagships of 2024. It's an amazing all-rounder. I like the new flat display now, so Samsung has got rid of the curves. It's got Gorilla Glass armor, which is noticeably less reflective, and it's also more scratch resistant. I really like the new 5x zoom camera, which doesn't really compromise on that extended zoom that we had on the S23 Ultra. And in actual fact, it gives you better extended zoom in low light, and I also prefer it for portraits. It's powered by the 8th Gen 3.4 Galaxy, and no matter what region you get the S24 Ultra in, you will still get that same consistent chipset. The S Pen is super useful, even though I might not use it every day. And Samsung has promised 7 generations of Android OS updates, which brings it in line with Google's actual devices. Now, it is packed with a bunch of AI features, which got lots of headlines towards the beginning of the year, such as Live Translate, Interpreter, all of the AI photo editing features where you can remove people from the background and use generative AI to fill in the gaps when you rotate an image. But if I'm completely honest with you, I very rarely use any of these AI features. I guess they're nice to have, but they're not something that I personally use every day. The battery life on the S24 Ultra is pretty good overall, but there are other devices on this list that give you better battery life and faster charging. And this is a premium smartphone for a premium price. It starts at $1,300 or £1,250, making it the most expensive smartphone on this list. Having said that, Samsung do have lots of great offers, so I will leave my affiliate link down in the description below. Right now, I believe they are offering double the storage for the same price. An honorable mention does have to go to the Samsung Galaxy S24 and the S24 Plus. Excellent smartphones, offer a lot of what the S24 Ultra does. Those AI features are all there, but at a lower price. Now, the next smartphone on my list actually got overshadowed by the S24 Ultra, I think, and I think it's the most underrated smartphone out this year. That is the OnePlus 12. Now, it doesn't have any fancy AI features, but it's a solid smartphone nevertheless. We have to talk about the price. The OnePlus 12 starts at around £850 in the UK or $800 in the US, but right now, it's on for $700. Now, that is an amazing deal and significantly cheaper, almost half the price of the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra in the US. And for that, you are getting a 120Hz Pro XDR display. It gets super bright. You've got a partial peak HDR brightness of 4500 nits. It's powered by the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. And the OnePlus 12 cameras are actually very good. They're really good flagship level cameras. We've got some of the similar hardware that we had on the OnePlus Open from last year. And we have a large 5400 milliamp hour battery, which gives you excellent battery life with a 100-watt SuperVOOC charger included out of the box. And OnePlus has promised 4 years of software updates and 5 years of security updates, which isn't the 7 years that Samsung and Google offer, but still pretty respectable, I would say. And we do have that curved screen. I know this is something that comes down to personal preference, but I know a lot of people don't like a curved screen and prefer something flat. Now, I do have to give an honorable mention to the OnePlus 12R. At $500, I think it's a great deal. I would say it's a bit of a cutback version of the OnePlus 12, kind of focused on gaming. There's also a unique Genshin Impact version if you're into that. And I did do a detailed gaming battle of the OnePlus 12R versus Edabong from Bored Out of Work. You can check that video out in the description. The next smartphone on my list is the Honor Magic 6 Pro. This is a great all-around flagship. We have the full Google Play Store, which some people still ask me about. Honor devices have separated from Huawei a long time ago. We've got a nice symmetrical design, a beautiful 6.8-inch 120Hz AMOLED display, which has a 5000 nits peak HDR brightness, and it also has the industry's highest PWM dimming frequency, 4320 Hz dynamic dimming, which makes it very easy on the eyes in low light conditions. We have excellent overall cameras, 50 megapixel primary with a variable aperture, which we don't see much of these days, 50 megapixel ultra wide camera, and a 180 megapixel periscope zoom camera, which I believe is the highest resolution on a periscope zoom camera out there. We still have Honor's AI motion sensing capture, which is great to capture action shots, and it is powered by the flagship once again, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 mobile platform. Now, this has one of the best battery lives on a smartphone that I've tested this year. It's got a huge 5600 milliamp hour battery, and it does support 80 watts of supercharging or 66 watts of wireless supercharging. Unfortunately, this year, Honor do not include the charger out of the box, and we once again have 4 years of OS updates and 5 years of security updates, which is pretty good, but not as good as Samsung and Google. It also has an even more curved screen than the OnePlus 12 because it curves on all sides. I think it looks amazing, but once again, some people don't prefer that. Now, Honor also released a special edition of the Honor Magic 6 Pro, the Porsche design Honor Magic 6 RSR. This takes a lot of the features that we've got on the Honor Magic 6 Pro and puts them in a very sleek package. You've got an improved display, improved cameras with LiDAR, but that is £1,600. If you're after something special, you might want to consider that. Now, so far on my list, we've had some amazing flagships, but they do have flagship price tags. What if you are on a budget? Well, good news is the next 2 picks in my list are budget friendly. First up, the Nothing Phone 2A. This is one of the most unique looking smartphones you're going to find in this price range. It has a cut down version of the glyph interface that we saw on the Nothing Phone 1 and 2. And although some people might consider it a bit of a gimmick, you can't deny that it makes the device look very unique, especially with that transparent design. Now, unlike previous Nothing phones, it does have a plastic build, but when you look at this device from the front, it looks like a proper flagship. 6.7-inch AMOLED display, which is brighter than the Phone 1 and the Phone 2, and it has uniform bezels. The cameras won't compete with the previous devices in this list, but they're not bad at all. It's powered by the custom MediaTek Dimensity 7200 Pro chip, which is an okay chip for the mid-range, but it's definitely not geared towards gaming or anything. However, because of the software, the Nothing 2A actually feels very fast and smooth. And that's one big advantage, in my opinion, of Nothing OS. It's super clean and minimal. I really do like it, and Nothing do roll out lots of updates. It's got a 5000 milliamp hour battery, which is actually bigger than previous Nothing versions, and it starts at £320 or $350. And I think that is a really good deal if you're after something that's quite unique and is going to do your day-to-day absolutely fine. But what if you're on a budget and you still want really good performance? Well, the last smartphone on my list, once again in no particular order, is the Poco F6. Now, this is one of the first devices that's powered by the 8S Gen 3 mobile platform. It's got LPDDR5X RAM with UFS 4.0 storage, a 120Hz AMOLED display, and it's actually very good for gaming for its price. It's got a 5000 milliamp hour battery with 90 watts of turbocharging included out of the box. You're not going to have to get this separately. And all of that package is for around £340, which I think is a great deal. Now, once again, it does have a plastic build, which might not really even matter to you because most people use their smartphone in a case, and the F6 does come with a case out of the box. Now, the cameras aren't really going to blow you away or compete with some of the flagships that we mentioned earlier in this video, but some of those flagships are 3, maybe even up to 4 times the price of the Poco F6. So for me, this is an amazing deal, and that's why it's made my top 5 list. Now, before we conclude, there are some honorable mentions that almost made my top 5 list, but I think we do need to give them a shout out. The first is the Oppo Find X7 Ultra with its quad 50 megapixel camera setup, the 1-inch size sensor, and the world's first dual periscope telephoto camera. Now, the reason this didn't make my top 5 list is because it's not readily available in the West, like the UK and the US. Yes, you can get it imported in and from other retailers and things, but it's not officially available. And a similar reason why the Huawei Pura 70 Ultra didn't make my list either. We don't have the Google Play Store, which really makes it hard for me to recommend it as one of my top 5 picks. If you're after a gaming phone, the ROG Phone 8 Pro is an absolute beast. I also have to give an honorable mention to the Vivo X100 Pro, which technically came out in 2023, but it is a 2024 smartphone. It's an amazing flagship device, which I just have not had enough time to test. So those are my top 5 favorite smartphones of 2024 so far, with some honorable mentions. As I said towards the start of this video, guys, this list is going to be different to your list. That's absolutely fine. We can still be friends. Drop your favorites down in the comments below. And remember, we will be doing the top 5 list towards the end of the year, as well as the SuperSaf style collaboration, which you don't want to miss. So do subscribe and hit that bell icon if you haven't already. If you want to see my previous top 5 videos, they'll be linked here and here. We did a collaboration with Marquez last year, if you remember. I didn't get time to go over to the US to do that again, but maybe we'll do it again next year. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, then do smash that like button for me. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on SuperSaf TV. I'll see you next time.